known by the company we keep.
Hi there, my name is
I'm
Tercy
the
Engelhardt,
one
and I
who
want to welcome you
circle
to
round
the
10 weeks
Unreasonably Grateful
by
podcast, Living in Grace by Choice. So grateful to have you here every week. I say some version of that, and it's still true. However, you got here, whether someone shared it with you or said, hey, here's an episode, listen to this, or I popped up on your algorithm, or maybe you know me from another avenue of my life. However, you got here, I'm grateful that you are. And, every week I say to you, what we're doing here is becoming the best version of ourselves. And we're doing that together. We're holding hands, walking through this life with all the day to day challenges and all those opportunities to practice being really who we were created to be, having all those divine qualities that are imbued in all of us rise to the surface and live from those rather than from our wounds or our hurts or our disappointments or trying to avoid something or trying to make something happen, instead just trusting that it's happening just perfectly. So thank you for being here. A reminder that I don't have your answers. I'm simply sharing tidbits of wisdom that I've now gleaned over 40 plus years of recovering from teenage sexual abuse and then living as an addict, having an eating disorder for 20 years, 16 to 36. And this is my 40th year of recovery. So the wisdom that's happened is simply in just the experiences that I've had, things I've gleaned from other people's stories. And so I'm sharing stories from my life in the hopes that you'll get something that will help you take your next step. So that's why I'm glad you're here. I want you to take your next step. So let's see here. This particular episode is called Be Patient with Yourself. Be patient with the process. Now, most of you, if you've been listening and know that my sister and I are on this journey of walking through a cancer diagnosis and now finishing a second round of chemotherapy. And it's been such a beautiful opportunity for us both to relook at our childhood, reconnect, laugh, cry, share stories. It's a wonderful opportunity when we can reconnect with family of origin because nobody knows you like that's the sister that you grew up with and shared a room with, and probably frustrated and also enjoyed. So it's been great, and I'm super grateful for that opportunity. We've learned a lot and are still learning a lot, and the journey's not over yet, so we're still in that process. This particular round of chemo was more difficult. I think I've said that than the first round. However, like I've also said, she's just amazing, her attitude in walking through this. But one of the things that came up, and I heard it also in someone that called me for some coaching. I've heard it in baseball season's on again. Yes, I'm still a Dodgers fan. Yes, I'm still watching every game with my grandson. And there's so many opportunities for life lessons when we watch lots of things, but in this case, professional sports. And this morning I was saying, because he was saying somebody was bad because the other team had a walk-off home run last night. And I go, it's not like he's bad, baby. Remember, these are like elite athletes. These are the best in the world. I don't know how many professional major league players there are, but it's something like a couple thousand total. And I said, it's simply the batter's great and the pitcher's great. And sometimes in the duel of trying to pitch so that the batter strikes out, the pitcher wins. And sometimes in the duel, the batter wins. Last night, the batter wins. He's also a great batter. And there's so many opportunities for us to learn from our life experiences. And what came up for me this week in a couple of different situations was how important it is that we're patient with ourselves, because it's easy to be impatient. We can drop something, break something, get upset. We can feel like we should be further along. Things should be further along. And so really trusting the process, being patient with the process as well. We had a longtime employee. Our restaurant business has been, since COVID, slowly diminishing down to where I think we have 3 restaurants right now. But at one time we were employing, I think 950 people, and we were parts of I think 14 restaurants. So we no longer needed an executive chef, even though this person had been with us a long time. And it's always difficult to let go of somebody, particularly somebody who's, been so dedicated and been such a pivotal part of your business and your growth. Anyway, were really good at people skills, and we let him know, and he knew he was just hoping he had a little longer, and he got a severance. And the other day I got an email from him, and he's so happy. He said it was the best thing that ever happened to him. He moved back to Italy. He had come to work for us 20 some years ago from Italy. He's an American. Well, actually, he's a Canadian citizen and American. And he went back to Italy. He's living in Tuscany. He has a little herb garden. He's working for an amazing plant based spa. And he lives in a small town. I mean, he's so happy. He's so happy. He said there's no pressure. He was living in Los Angeles. And so it made me think about, how to trust that process. Like there is something bigger going on, something beyond our own plans. And I think we all know that. I just don't think we're all patient or trust it. We want our plan, we want it to go our way. And that's the part that I was sharing last week when we were talking about humility, which, by the way, my sister asked me to define it. My husband and I, he reminded me, we remembered that one of the ways that we had heard it defined and have utilized that definition is humility isn't thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. And that's a key distinction. Well, being patient with yourself is like trusting that there's a process going on that's bigger than your plans, bigger than your small world. There's a much bigger picture happening. And we don't always know what that looks like. We don't always know how it's going. But I don't know about you, but sometimes when I look back at my life, I can see how everything led me to where I am today. Even though back then it didn't necessarily feel like that, I couldn't see it. There's a part of being able to step into the unknown, to have faith and to trust and to be patient. And that's the part that I'm pointing to this week is instead of letting the impatience run the show, the impatience with who we are or where we are or with what's going on around us or all the things that are happening, let's see if we can't work on being patient with ourselves as well as being patient with the process, trusting that there's something bigger happening and it actually is happening for your good. So that's what I want you to take on this week. See if you can't do that. Know that you're loved, and I will be here next week. And I look forward to seeing you then. And in the meantime, practice patience. You're worth it. Okay? See you then. Have a great week.